Pleased with the verdict. I think the jury got it right. It's a terrible tragedy for everybody involved in the case. The actions of the defendant have virtually ripped apart several families, destroyed the lives of many. Her own children are affected. Their mother's going to prison for many years. They'll be without a mother. The young man who was the victim of all this is on runaway status. His life is clearly disturbed by what occurred. There are no winners, but the jury did what it had to do. We presented proof beyond a reasonable doubt, and the law being as it is, she must go to prison for a mandatory minimum of 25 years.
There was a lot of negotiating back and forth on the guidelines and stuff like that. You know, what does that mean? Maybe kind of explain a little bit about that, about what, you know, how they come up with the different guidelines and how that affects in sentencing.
Well, Michigan has sentencing guidelines, and the guidelines are based upon various points that are scored for prior offenses, for the type of offense for which the defendant is convicted. What happened in court today was the ORVs were reduced. Those are points based upon the allegations of the crime itself. So it reduced that, and it would have reduced the minimum had there not been a mandatory minimum. And I think Judge Nethercutt referred to that. But because the legislature has determined that an adult who has sex with a person 12 years old has committed such a heinous crime that they must pay the price, and that price is 25 years mandatory minimum. I think the legislature is correct. What you have here is a teacher who had sex with a 12-year-old. That is a despicable crime, and one for which the punishment should be severe.
Still maintaining your innocence. How, you know, maybe, you know, what would be the next thing, you know, with which is kind of silly, more background type stuff. So has the right to appeal, and then, you know, kind of maybe just for background.
Yeah, she has the right to appeal because it was a jury trial. Unlike a plea, there is no automatic right to appeal. When you're convicted by a jury, there is an automatic right to appeal. If she can't afford a lawyer, the court will appoint an appellate lawyer for her. I suspect that they will take a fine-tooth comb through every page of the transcript of the trial, but I don't think there are appellate issues that are critical here. I think that we got it right. I think my assistant prosecutor, Michelle Richardson, and Michael Tesner, who handled the trial, did an outstanding job. The judge's rulings that I witnessed were correct. I don't think there's an Eighth Amendment issue, even though that's what defense counsel talked about. That, of course, is cruel and unusual punishment. What they would have to do is attack the 25-year mandatory minimum, and I think they're going to have an awfully difficult time doing that in light of Eighth Amendment rulings that have come out of the United States Supreme Court. They're not even close on that issue.
What does this say to somebody else that either is thinking about this or may have possibly done it and the student hasn't come forward yet?
Well, any time we have a jury verdict in a case like this, I think it sends a resounding message across all of Michigan and really across all of the United States that students are to be treated like gold, and that teachers need to keep their hands off. And don't get me wrong, 99.9% of teachers would never, ever consider doing anything like this. They have the best interests of their students at heart, but there's always one bad apple in the bushel, and that's what happened here.
Anything else?
No, you guys ask good questions.
Enjoy your bean soup.
They don't feed me.
You got you singing.